Hi, my name's Johnny, and today we are finally giving some love to the lefties, because I suppose somebody has to. Now, in my 26 years of being alive now, I've learnt that the world is not fair, and a group of people that are often left out in the world of guitars are all of those left-handed legends out there. So this video is for all of you. Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 bass brands for lefties. But before we go anywhere, make sure you take that left hand and hit the like button down below. Actually, do you know what? I think for this video, to represent the lefties, we're going to switch things around. Now I feel like I can really get a good perspective. So as well as looking at the sheer number of left-handed basses that these brands produce, I'm going to be taking into account price range, colour range, and diversity as well. Because there's no point in just having a load of left-handed P basses and no jazz basses or no humbucking basses within the brand. Okay, let's jump into this then, shall we? So number 10, we are diving in with a more affordable brand, and that brand is Vintage. I've had some pretty good experiences with Vintage, and looking at their blah, blah, blah. And although their left-handed range is limited to just 4 basses, it's quite diverse. We've got an ash body jazz bass with all of the ashtray covers. We've got a P bass, we've got a black jazz bass, and we've also got a fretless jazz bass as well, which earned them extra brownie points in this list. So I suppose that's 4 different types of basses. They also do lots of Stingray copies as well. I think it would have been nice to see one of those in there as well, but you know, they're coming in at number 10 because they've only got 4, but it's a pretty diverse range. Moving on to number 9, Ibanez. Ibanez. Now, honestly, Ibanez are obviously big players, and I was kind of surprised that they were this low in my ranking. Obviously, I don't really shop around in the left-handed market, so there were some real eye-openers when I was having a looking at this. Considering the number of basses that Ibanez do and all of the different shapes, I was surprised that they only had actually 6 on their website. One of these being the short scale micro basses. They've got a left-handed Talmon bass, so we've got another PJ configuration. But then looking at the huge range of SR basses they do, which arguably are the basses that they're most well known for nowadays, they've actually only got 2. It's a black one and like a mahogany style one. You do see those basses around a lot, so I'm guessing that they looked at their most popular models and they estimated that they could afford to produce left-handed models in these ones. Now, going aside from their website, you can find some more online. Like I found this left-handed EHB, which is really cool to see, but wasn't on their website, so I don't know if they still make this. Within this list, you might find some online that are discontinued models that are still in stock with retailers. So some of these might not be the most accurate, but let's just have a bit of fun. Number 8 is Fender / Squier, kind of bending the rules a little bit here. Within the Fender family umbrella, we've got 6 left-handed models. Now, although they've only got 6, they're quite high up on the list here because it's one from nearly all of the series that they do, and there's still a huge range of colours that you can get each of these in. But that still doesn't mean that it's a great range compared to their right-handed range, and you'd think a brand like Fender could afford to cater towards the left-handed market, but apparently not. And looking at the brand new for 2021 Player Plus series and the new Paranormal Squier series, there ain't a lefty in sight. So that's a real shame for those left-handed bass players. Next up is Hofner. I don't really like Hofner. I don't want to join the Beatles. I don't really like their basses that much. For me personally anyway. But I was surprised to see that a lot of their models do have left-handed counterparts as well. Even in the Club series, which I say I don't like Hofner, where I don't really like the violin basses, I would quite like a Club bass. So the fact that they've got a left-handed version of that as well is pretty cool. So a large percentage of their range is covered, and this ranges from like £200 to £300 all the way up to the £2,000 mark. So they have kind of got all bases covered. They don't have a diverse range of basses, so to have left-handed ones be a large part of that collection, I think means that they deserve this place on the list. 9, 8, 7, 6. We're on number 6. Number 6 is Sandberg. Now Sandberg are a little bit different where they don't really make strict models so much, and like sell them as a product on their website, you have to go into their configurator and almost like customize one. And the higher up the price range you go, the more options you get when configuring. So it's a bit of a wild card entry, this, because it's a bit hard to gauge actually how many left-handed basses they offer. But looking on websites like Thomann, we can see there's about 14 different left-handed basses on there. If you're using their configurator, I think you can only actually make 2 or 3 affordable basses, which makes them lose some points here. You're looking at £1,200 at least. So the next one on this list is Warwick. Warwick is a brand that I keep forgetting about. I'm not really a big Warwick guy, but I was surprised to see how many models that they do have. Now, when I tried to go on their website to see their left-handed range, I wanted to stop being a bass player, give up my life of enjoying music, lock myself in a hole and cry for the rest of my life, because that website is terrible. So I kind of had to give it a bit of a Google and go on Thomann and see what left-handed basses that they did, and I was surprised to see that they had a lot on there. Now, Warwick are a step above Sandberg. They actually had a larger range of more affordable basses within there as well. Number 4 is Harley Benton. If you've watched this channel before, you know that I love affordable gear, and Harley Benton are the kings of affordable gear. Now, what's cool about Harley Benton's Lefties is that they've got a big range of different types of basses within there. We've got the 50s style P bass, the Rickenbacker jazz basses, the double humbucking progressive bass, 4-string and 5-string version, a P bass and a short scale P bass as well. So that ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people in there. Now, none of these basses listed, I believe, are over £300. Some of these, like the vintage series, why is that so hard to say? Some of these, like the vintage series PB50, are around the £100 mark, so really affordable and great playing basses. Now we are in the top 3. In the bronze position is a brand that I don't think I've never covered on this channel, and that is ESP. I was really amazed to see this huge range of left-handed basses that they offer. Whether it's 4-string, 5-string, PJ configuration, passive, active, humbuckers, they've got you covered. They've got this really cool natural burst satin D4, 3 basses in the B series, a really cool all-black Surveyor, a 4-string black metal, and then a 4 and 5-string version of the AP bass in this really, really cool Pelham Blue. And those are just the ones that are listed currently on their website. So number 2 is actually one of my favourite bass brands, and that is Schecter. Schecter offer such good quality and really good value for money as well. Going on their website, looking at their current range of basses, we can see that they've got... Now, going on their website, I can see that they've got 36 variations of Lefties on here. And that caters for so many audiences as well. We've got jazz basses, we've got double humbucking basses with different choices of preamps, awesome PJ configuration from the Session Model T, got the Doug Pinnick Signature, the Nicky 6 bass, and 4, 5, 6-string versions of the stiletto basses. And when I was doing a quick Google to double check this, I saw that they also do a left-handed version of their short scale bass, the Banshee. So here we are, we've made it to the tippity top of the mountain, so we're here to crown our winner. It's Sire. I spoke a little bit earlier about, you know, whether Fender can afford to produce these models in a left-handed range as well. Look at Sire. As a company, are still little babies compared to the giants that are Fender. And yet they seem to be able to afford to produce a huge range of left-handed basses in the majority of their models and majority of the colours as well. It's amazing the range that you've got here. They've got a really handy section on their website where you can filter it down to left-handed and fretless as well, so you can see the different variations of each product within there. We've got the V5, the V7, the V9, the V10, the P7, the P10, the M5, the M7, the U5. We've got 4-string PJ basses in there. We've got 4 and 5-string jazz basses in there. We've got a 4, 5 and a 6-string double humbucking bass in there. and we've even got a short scale in there. And a lot of these models can also be fretless as well. There's so much on there, and every website I was going on to have a look at this, Sire was always the top. Granted, that's because of the colours and they're displaying as separate bases, but I think that's quite important, you know. It might put you off buying a jazz bass from another company if it's only in black or natural, whereas if you can get it in blue, in purple, in red, in white, in natural, in green, I just think they've got a much more diverse range of colours and basses available. They're even doing their brand new passive series, the D5 and the P5, in lefties and fretlesses as well. So there we have it. Let me know in a comment down below whether you think this list was right or whether you think there's some brands that I've missed out on. No doubt there is. Once again, to all you left-handed and right-handed players out there, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.